Over the last decade, the aggressively unfunny Jimmy Kimmel has drove his late night show into the ground when it comes to ratings by alienating half of the audience, by constantly making everything political and only on one side. He did that, and he is the one that got himself suspended in the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk assassination, because Jimmy Kimmel, just like so many on the left, have been lying to everyone. And this time, it went too far. And although the left, who for the last decade has been all about canceling anybody they possibly can that has a different opinion than them, not for anything offensive, not for anything egregious, simply for having the wrong opinion, they are now changed their minds completely on cancel culture, at least for the next day or so, as so many people are rallying behind Jimmy Kimmel after he was suspended. ABC Disney Next Star pulled Jimmy Kimmel after he spread disinformation about Charlie Kirk's assassin. And yes, let's get this straight. This is because Jimmy Kimmel lied to his dwindling audience on the show that he's cratered the ratings on. He lied about Charlie Kirk's assassin. He, like so many people in the media, tried to pretend like this dude was MAGA, like this dude was on the right, even though we have statements from his friends, his family, his coworkers about his left-wing political leanings. We have statements from him about how he hated Trump and Charlie Kirk, how he thought he was a fascist, how he thought he was hateful, and you can't argue with that. He put Antifa messaging on the bullets, obviously, and by the way, lives and is fucking a gay, transgender, furry roommate. Yeah, that just screams MAGA, doesn't it? That's why this happened. And although so many people on the left on social media and in the mainstream media and on the other late night shows, they're trying to convince you that this happened because Trump told Disney to do it. Unfortunately, that's just not the reality. The reality is Jimmy Kimmel said something that pissed off a lot of people, and advertisers, local broadcasters, they are the ones that push this to the point where Disney, when learning that Jimmy Kimmel not only was not going to apologize, but was going to double down and continue to attack MAGA, continue to attack the right wing, continue to spread lies about Charlie Kirk's assassin, that's when Disney said, we don't have a choice, we have to pull you off the air. And let's also keep in mind, he's not officially been fired yet. He's just suspended as of right now. But let's get into what actually happened, since everyone's lying about this shit. How Jimmy Kimmel's suspension went down, sponsor panic, a defiant host, and a painful call. It is not because the chairman of the FCC was on Benny Johnson's podcast and said, hey, look, Disney has to look at what exactly they're doing. Nobody threatened to pull him off. Nobody threatened to do this. It wasn't because President Trump said so. No, it's because Disney, who, let's be honest, Jimmy Kimmel's show is failing. It's hemorrhaging money for them. Maybe they're just looking for a way out, period, and this was a convenient time. It's because their advertisers, their sponsors, and all the local ABC stations said, we're not going to run this. And at that point, when they learned that Jimmy Kimmel was going to double down, they really didn't feel like they had a choice. Disney's Bob Iger and Dana Waldron wanted to know how Kimmel was going to address the situation. Sources say he planned to defend what he said rather than kowtowing to the outrage. Disney thought that would fan the flames. On Monday's episode of his long-running ABC late-night show, Jimmy Kimmel mocked MAGA Republicans for scrambling to distance their own ideologies from those of Charlie Kirk's alleged murder. Yeah, it's because you guys are spreading lies. Jimmy Kimmel was spreading lies and intentional disinformation about this assassin. Here's the quote. We've hit some new lows over the weekend, with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. That was the statement. We've talked about that. I put out a video on that. You can go back and check it if you want to actually see it. The joke kicked off a social media shitstorm. Within hours, multiple ABC station owners held calls with senior Disney leadership expressing their concern on the comments, a second source tells THR. Inside of ABC, multiple conversations with Kimmel were had at the executive level. The execs wanted to know, how is Kimmel going to address the situation on Wednesday night's show? So I want you to keep this in mind, that the local ABC, so Disney, ABC, right, they own it, whatever they're doing, but they have partnerships with local broadcasters that are owned by different entities. You know, ABC News 9, your local, wherever you live, that type of shit. That's what we're talking about. Those broadcasters, and by the way, 56, 58 of them, somewhere around there, of the 200 local broadcasters had already pulled Kimmel's show before ABC stepped in and said he's temporarily suspended. Those are the people that made these decisions. They are the ones that said, hey, you guys got to do something. Not Trump said it. I mean, it's just absolutely fucking ridiculous. The answer was not satisfactory to management, sources say. Meanwhile, the advertiser calls began to roll in, and then big affiliate conglomerates, Nexstar and Sinclair, threatened to preempt the show. A second source said the blowback was snowballing enough that had ABC not acted, Kimmel's show would have been dark in a large swath of the country, even beyond the Sinclair and Nexstar territories. The situation became a safety issue as Disney employees saw their emails doxed, and some even received death threats. That's not good. Disney wanted Kimmel to address the situation in a way that would take down the temperature, but what he had planned was going to fan the flames with the MAGA fan base, a source says. So they didn't demand him to apologize or anything, but they wanted to know how he's going to address it. Not only was he not going to apologize, but he was going to double down and continue to spread the same fucking lies. That's what Jimmy Kimmel was going to do. And that's what got him fired. And in the aftermath of this, the left are trying to pretend like this is just pure fascism. This is censorship. Now they're calling to boycott Disney and ABC and ESPN. Well, spoiler alert, do it. Go for it. I don't think too many people on this side are going to be upset if Disney loses a few Disney Plus subscribers. You also can just see how retarded some of these people are by call your local provider and tell them you want to cancel ABC. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, ma'am. ABC is provided for free to every single person in the entire fucking country. That's how stupid some of these people actually are. But the reality is, they are like, one of the things they're trying to do is they're trying to frame this. And you got Pedro Pascal, you got a bunch of actors saying, I'm standing with Jimmy Kimmel. They're trying to frame this as the biggest attack on free speech in history. I regret to inform you, Disney deciding to temporarily suspend Jimmy Kimmel, his failing show, with a failing audience and a losing audience over the things he said and their advertisers threatening to boycott and all this stuff. I hate to break it to you. That's not quite a big attack on free speech. You know what it is? When the person who stands for free speech gets murdered by a leftist. That's a little bit bigger attack on free speech. Don't you think? Don't you think? They're trying to say, we are all Jimmy Kimmel. They're trying to make him into a Charlie Kirk. Jimmy Kimmel is still alive. Charlie Kirk is not. Jimmy Kimmel said something that was so taken so poorly, that was so offensive to a mass amount of the country, that advertisers and sponsors and local ABC affiliates everywhere said, we don't want to have this on anymore. We're not going to do this. It wasn't because the FCC chairman said, well, maybe Disney has to think about what they're putting on their airs. It wasn't because Trump threatened them. It's not what's happening. But these fucking people are trying to twist it into that so they can have something on their side to talk about. It's truly fucking disgusting. And let's also, just to keep things in perspective, people trying to equate this to the right embracing cancel culture, whatever. Look, for the last decade, people have been attacked over nothing. People have been attacked over things that aren't offensive. People have been attacked for telling the truth, censored for telling the truth, censored for all of these things for the past decade. And the left-wing activists, a fringe minority of people, have been behind this. Right? These companies who have decided, well, this little tiny group of people is getting really upset. We better fire you. That is not this situation at all in any way, shape, or form. These are sponsors and advertisers and local broadcasters that are saying what you're saying is not okay, and we're going to take it off the air. You have to do something. And Disney, realizing that he wasn't going to back off, realizing he was going to make it worse, said, okay, we have to take you off the air for a little while. That's what's happening. I think that Jimmy Kimmel is set to meet, either met last night or is set to meet tonight with ABC executives to figure out a path forward, what they're going to do with the show, everything. I would not be surprised if Disney used this moment as an excuse to get rid of Jimmy Kimmel because they've wanted to for a while. Because his show is failing. Because his show fucking sucks. Because he did exactly what he did the other night and last night, well, not last night, but the other night, he just took it too far. In the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination, lying to everyone about his murder. It's disgusting. And now Jimmy Kimmel, for right now, is off the air. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.